We are all experiencing an unprecedented time in our lives right now. The level of uncertainty, anxiety, and fear can be overpowering as we learn to navigate in our new world, all doing our part, whether it be social distancing, staying home, and abiding by federal guidelines. There are so many on the front lines who are battling a war against an invisible enemy. Being on the front lines can place a person's physical and mental health in jeopardy. A team of professionals has come together and created a program called Resilient Minds on the Front Lines to bring tools, knowledge, skills, and instruction to assist in a time of need. This team is dedicated to helping those who help others. On today's webcast, Pastor Gary Holden, Reverend, Founder, President, and CEO of the Police Chaplain Program, discusses the importance of spirituality in our lives and how to let your light shine through adversity. Your hosts for today's webcasts are Master Resiliency Instructor Michael Pellegrino and Dr. Gabrielle Salfati, Professor of Psychology and Certified Resilience Trainer.
Our team at Resilient Minds on the Front Lines is dedicated to bringing you 15 minutes of hope in a world turned upside down. The topics in our webcasts are all meant to help those on the front lines help themselves and others. Today, Chaplain Gary Holden asks us to keep light in our lives by making sure we don't neglect spirituality. So when adversity hits, and it will, our light will continue to shine brightly. Be safe, be healthy, be resilient.
Hi, I'm Chaplain Gary Holden. Thank you for joining with me today. I'm the founder and president of the Police Chaplain Program. We train law enforcement and first responder chaplains. I'm also a pastor, New Jersey State Police chaplain, and Master Resilience Trainer. And all of this began for me when I served as a chaplain at the World Trade Center after 9/11. There and since, I have learned what resilience is all about. I want to talk to you today about spiritual resilience. This lesson is not about a religion, but is certainly about the inner person. We most often take care of the outside of our lives, the physical, our appearance, which is fine and good. But the area that we very often neglect is the interior of our lives. So I want to focus on that in our time together. How many of you have seen a lighthouse before? I'm sure most of you have. I have visited a number and seen many in my day and climbed a few, which was not always easy to do. I have one here that I keep on my shelf, and it's just a little reminder of the light that needs to be in my life. Have you ever thought about why a lighthouse is needed? So I want you to think about that for a moment. The lighthouse stands despite the repeated beating of the waves because its purpose, its mission is to help navigate people through treacherous waters. And much like this little lighthouse that I keep on my shelf as a reminder, your beliefs, principles, or values are what we call spirituality have the resolve to withstand the continuous beating of the waves or those stressors and the adversity that often comes into our lives. So I ask you today, do you have a lighthouse in your life? I found out a long time ago that I need a light to guide my life and help me through the treacherous waters that come my way. You might call that your beliefs or values or your faith. Maybe there was something you were taught in your life that you've gotten away from. For me, this is all about my faith. My faith is my lighthouse. But what about when adversity comes our way? We certainly can relate to that now in the world in which we live. So many things that have disrupted our lives. Also, for me, it was when I was diagnosed a year ago with stage 4 cancer, attributed to being at the World Trade Center. And through this experience, it would have been easy for my light not to shine so bright. After all, it is my purpose to help others, so why is this happening to me? And we may feel real conflict because our experiences contradict our general assumptions about the world, even where we live. For example, we may believe that good things happen to good people, but do they? Do they always? That belief may be challenged when we encounter adversity. And no matter what you may be struggling with, we all need that light, that lighthouse, that reminder to help us to become more resilient. We need something or someone to help our inner person cope and move us ahead. You may call that your faith or some value, or you may need to open up to another person to help you turn on the light and keep it shining. And it is good then to have spiritual reminders or a spiritual reminder to help us get through our adversities. And so think about something, some quote, some scripture, some verse that you can use to bring to your remembrance to help the light to shine. Here are some examples that I've heard that some people have shared. Keep calm and carry on. Or, I live for those I love. Another, everything happens for a reason. I can do anything, someone said, if I put my mind to it. Or, what doesn't kill me makes me stronger. And another, all things work together for the good. My favorite is a scripture verse that has so many times helped me to keep going. It's found in the book of Proverbs, chapter 3, verses 5 and 6. Let me quote it for you. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct your paths. Now there's really a lot in that verse that certainly helps me. This is personal to me, especially in adversity, and it helps me to be more resilient. This helps me to understand also what trust is all about. It's often hard to trust, isn't it? Maybe it's because we've been betrayed more than we would like to admit. And there are certainly some trust killers around us much of the time. Maybe you can think of some. But some of the ones I think of are worry, doubt, disbelief, fear, trust killers. And there are people who certainly can affect our trust. Have you ever been around a negative person? I know you have. We all have. Maybe you are a negative person. A negative person can be a trust killer. Everything they seem to say is negative. And it doesn't take long for their negativism to rub off on us, and we become negative as well. That can get us down. That can get you down. And then you carry that with you, and you take it home with you, and then it affects the others around you. But when your light shines, it's a whole lot easier to be positive. Here's a little exercise that I've used a number of times. Maybe try this sometimes, especially when you're around a negative person. And when they say something negative, you say something positive. And again, when they say something negative, you say something positive. And once again, when they say something negative, you say something positive. And you keep doing that, and you'll often see that then they will begin to say something positive. It's really a fun little exercise. But being positive helps us to keep our light burning. And this, I believe, promotes resiliency. And I refer back to my verse. There's some things I see in that. For example, I find that trust brings goodness. Trust brings goodness. I also find that trust brings grace. And also I see that trust brings guidance. That is all about the light in the darkness. These are things that I have learned from my little verse. And all of this helps me to keep on keeping on. So there may be an area, there should be an area in your life that has made an impact. Something in your life, somebody in your life, some saying that you use, and it makes an impact in your life. So think about what has made an impact in your life to keep your light shining, to keep your lamp burning. Maybe this is something that you've neglected or extinguished, and you need to replenish this. So can you think about something right now that you can write down? And why don't you do that right now? Write it down and then share it with another that you'll be able to use when adversity comes. Maybe it's something you've used in the past or something you've heard or something somebody shared with you, but something that you can use when adversity comes into your life. Then think about why that quote, that saying, or that verse is helpful, and expand on its meaning to you. What does it mean to you? Just like I shared with you what those verses mean to me. And then also think about what else you have or who you have to help you to keep the light on or to assist you to become more resilient. I believe there is also another ingredient to this. When we learn to keep the light on in our lives, we can also help others to keep the light on in their lives, and this can help them to learn to trust and to be more resilient. A very spiritual person wrote this many years ago. Let me share it with you. Here's what they said. The best way to forget your own problems is to help someone else solve their problems. Let me say it again. The best way to forget your own problems is to help someone else solve their problems. And from this, we're helping somebody else, we truly are blessed. I leave you with this then. My little lighthouse has a saying on it. Let your light shine. Yes, yes, even in the darkness, let your light shine. And others then will see your good work. I hope and pray that these thoughts help you to bring hope and light into your life along the way. Thanks for listening today. Let your light shine. Be resilient.
We can't change what happens to us in times of mental, emotional, and physical difficulty and adversity. But we can change how we react to that challenge. Resilience is our ability to approach and handle adversity in a way that allows us to bounce back more quickly, and sometimes this process even allows us to grow stronger. In today's video, we had an insightful talk by Gary Holden on the topic of spirituality, the beliefs, principles, values, or faith that guide us during times of adversity. If we had to summarize the key theme that ran through today's topic and put it in the context of resilience and how we can use this information to help us approach adversity in practice, we can bring it back to the key concept of spiritual resilience, or what gives our life meaning or direction. As we heard in today's video, our beliefs, principles, values, and faith help us navigate life. We can be challenged during adversity, and worry, doubts, and negativity can affect our inner strength. We were reminded to focus on our own guiding light, what gives our life meaning, whatever that may be, to help us approach and deal with adversity in the way that links in with who we are. As we say in positive psychology, it helps you show up in the world the way you want to show up and be the best person you can be for yourself and others. One of the many wonderful quotes given to us in today's video summarizes this resilience lesson beautifully. Everything happens for a reason. But instead of seeing this as something outside of ourselves that happens to us, if we think about this quote in a way that links in with resilience, which is about building our inner strength, what gives our life meaning, we can understand it as that guiding light to remind us that if we approach adversity and deal with it in a way that makes sense to us based on our beliefs, principles, values, or faith, it will give us the inner strength we need to deal with it. And inner strength is the basis of resilience. Our webcast series is committed to help those on the front lines help themselves and others, and aims to bring you tools and resources from practitioners and professionals in the field of resiliency. Thank you again to Gary Holden for joining us in today's episode, and thank you for joining us. We hope that today's webcast has brought you hope and inspiration. Be safe, be healthy, be resilient.
During the COVID-19 pandemic crisis, your mental health is vital. Please see the resources listed here as well as on our website at onthefrontlines.us. You are not alone.